Hello, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday. We're going to make a card that is fast and easy to make. And if you have been a viewer for, sometime in the last year, this might actually look a little bit familiar to you. So earlier this year, I made a card with mostly pinks. It was in Petunia Pop mainly, and posted that video, but it was not a Simply Saturday episode. So if you follow my Simply Saturday series, you may have missed it. So this will look familiar to that because my pieces are very similar, although I have changed it up to make it into a Christmas card. So I am beginning with a card base. This is thick, basic white cardstock. It is 4¼ inches by 11 inches, scored and folded in the center at 5½ inches. So you'll want to take your bone folder and reinforce that fold. Press that crease in. That gives you a nice crease that opens and shuts on that hinge without your paper buckling. Then I have a piece of old olive cardstock. This is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. We're going to go ahead and add that to the front of the card now. I chose the colors based on my designer series paper. So I started with my paper. This gave me the direction that I wanted to go, allowed me to choose my colors, and then I started pulling together some of the other elements. And as I said, I was already inspired by a card that I made earlier this year that was quite popular here on YouTube. So I'll put a link to that card here for you in the corner if you want to go back and see that version as well. All right, now I have a piece of Secret Sea cardstock, and this measures 2¼ inches by 5 inches. I used the new Gathering Leaves embossing folder. Now, this is part of more of a fall or autumn Thanksgiving suite, but I used it because I wanted this texture, and I think it looks just fine for Christmas. It doesn't have to just be for fall. So we're going to add this piece here to the card. Maybe a little extra adhesive when you're dealing with all that texture on the back, because some of it wants to kind of get soaked up into the little grooves. Okay, so we're going to add this. Like so. Now I'm going to take this paper, and this is a shiny foil paper. There are 2 different designs to this paper. I did not emboss this. It comes already with the design in it. And so it comes in Strawberry Slush, which is what I'm using right now, and then a pink color. It might be Bubble Bath, and also Cloud Cover. So you get 2 sheets of each of these shiny foil cardstocks, and there's 2 different prints that are pressed into them. So this time I'm using Strawberry Slush. Now, Strawberry Slush is not a color that's represented here, but it's close enough to the real red. It's going to look great. So we're going to use that. This piece now is going to go across the other direction. So we're going to lay it this way. And we want a little bit of the Secret Sea peeking out on this left side, and a little bit of the old olive showing on the right. Like this. Okay, now for our designer series paper piece, and this piece is 2 inches by 3 inches. So we'll go ahead and add this once you get your pieces cut. And also let me mention, if you don't want to use an embossing folder on this, or you don't have one that you think is appropriate for it, just use the piece of cardstock without using an embossing folder. It will still look very nice. Okay, now I'm going to add this, and I really like these angles that are showing behind each of the pieces. So they're all slightly overlapping in the middle, but still with this old olive border going around the edges. All right, I have a piece of real red cardstock here that I've die cut with Spotlight on Nature, and there's a couple little pieces that didn't pop out, so we'll just poke those out really quickly. Oh, here's another one, two, I think that's it. All right, so this piece is real red cardstock, which of course is in the designer series paper, and then a smaller circle also from Spotlight on Nature. All right, now as I was thinking through this and making my plan, I did realize that the stamp set that kind of, well, not kind of, it does. It coordinates with the traditions of Christmas paper. There's two stamp sets, and I've been using them quite a bit. You may have seen some of my other videos. Traditional Labels is one of them, and Christmas Greenery is one. The words in this set are just too large for my card today. So I went to a different stamp set. I went back to Perfectly Pairs, which I've used quite a bit, and I'm just going to use the Hello stamp from here. Then we're going to go back to this for the inside of the card. So let's get Hello out of here. Is it this one? Nope, that says Friend. Here it is. All right, so, and now that I'm getting ready to put this, it is, I mean, it's definitely going to fit, but it's going to be a little bit small. Maybe we will add something to this. All right, we'll decide in just a moment. Let's go ahead and stamp this in real red. Let's stamp it in Secret C. That way, if I have to add something to it, I've got a lot of options, either red or green or, I don't know. Let's see what we decide. Okay, we're going to do our Hello. Let's just go ahead and do it right in the center in case that's all we do. Okay, so this would then go on here and on here. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it at that. This is a fast and easy card, so let's not do too many extra elements, but I could easily grab some stamps from Christmas Greenery, one of these smaller flowers or even the poinsettia, and stamp on this to dress it up. But we're not going to do it. Fast and easy is what we're looking for. This is now going to go on to my real red die cut circle. And because of those really beautiful cutouts going all the way around, it looks quite dressy. All right, this is going to go right here, but before we do that, let's add our ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and use this gold ribbon. It's called Gold Striped. And let's see what the width is. I'm trying to see, hold on, I gotta flip it over. 3/8. Okay, this is 3/8 of an inch. I like ribbon that is 3/8 or a 1/4 inch or 1/8. Once they get much wider than that, sometimes they're difficult to use in lots of different applications. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little loop. This reminds me a lot of the shape of like the breast cancer awareness loop. I have also heard when you take ribbon like this and do that to it, or even just kind of like pinch it at the top and then have two tails. I've heard it called a carrot. I'm not sure why, but I don't mind that description. So we're going to make a little ribbon carrot. Okay, so I've got it looped like that, and then I've got my tails, and I need a sharp pair of scissors to cut this. I want to have plenty of length. I can always trim it down if I need to. Okay, this is going to lie right on my card like so. I want these tails coming down so that you can see them. They're very pretty. And then my circle is going to go on top of it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape on here to hold it. Now I need 2 hands to go get my tear and tape and get it. So I'm just taking a giant acrylic block to hold that in place. All right, I've got my tear and tape, and I'm just going to pinch off a piece And then this is going to hold my ribbon down, but nobody's going to know that it's there because we're going to cover it with that red circle. Okay, so there we have it. It's in place. It's not going to go anywhere. This stuff is nice and sticky, and we're just going to leave it just like that. Let's flip this over. We're going to add some dimensionals. I'm looking for some full-size ones. Here we go. Oh, look at this funny one. A bunch of the edge pieces have been pulled off. Isn't that odd looking? All right, let's use some of these. I think 3 are going to be enough. And now we're going to stick this on right over that tear and tape so it completely covers it and presses the ribbon down, but it still has that nice texture. We've got texture from the ribbon, texture from the embossing folder, texture on here, and we have that beautiful foil in here. I think they're calling this gold foil. One of the other papers has what they're calling champagne foil, but it's metallic. All right. If you wanted to, you could add some sequins or something else to dress this up. I think I'm going to leave mine just like this because Simply Saturday is all about exactly that, fast and easy. You won't need to put a white layer on the inside because we used a white card base, so you're set with that. Perhaps you'd want to do a little bit of stamping on the inside. I will go ahead. I had mentioned this before, so let's go ahead and stamp Merry Christmas on the inside. And because we've already got Secret C ink out and ready, we'll just stay with that. This is going to take 2 separate stamps, the Merry and then the Christmas stamp. I might need a bigger block for this. All right, we've got our inside, and you could of course add some flowers or some greenery to this if you want to. There we have it. We have our fast and easy card for today. I'm going to go ahead and put some information for you below this video. You'll find it in the drop-down box, and it includes a place to find the shopping list. It includes the dimensions of all the little pieces that we used, and as always, if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. Until next time, happy stamping.